Earlier this month, the World Health Organization declared the Zika virus a public health emergency of international concern. In light of that and the media coverage, as well as what we understand to be potential birth defects that could arise, there's a great deal of concern amongst employees. So employers should do first is to educate their employees about the Zika virus. They want to make sure that they have the correct information. So explaining to employees how it's transmitted, precautions that can be taken to prevent the transmission, symptoms that could arise. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention is an excellent tool for employees to use. The website has a lot of information. It's accurate information, and it's information that's easy for employees to understand. It's also important for employers to keep monitoring the CDC's website to get additional information, specifically as it concerns any travel restrictions or travel bans that may be put in place. So that will allow employers to make informed business decisions about whether their employees should be traveling or working in those countries where their employees are at a greater risk of contracting the virus. And then, of course, the employer should share that information with its employees. The next thing that employers should do, which is critical, is to train their managers. Managers are going to be the first line of communication with the employees who are expressing concerns about the Zika virus. So they need to have an understanding of, how they should respond from an HR standpoint, but also about the legal implications that could arise. So at a minimum, managers should be instructed to reach out to human resources when they're confronted with any concerns from employees about the Zika virus. And if managers are keeping human resources abreast of the situations that are occurring, the employer can ensure that it's taking a consistent approach to the issues that are being raised by employees in the workplace. There are a number of legal implications that could arise based on the Zika virus. What we know today is that pregnant employees are at the greatest risk when it comes to the Zika virus because there is a potential risk for birth defects for their unborn children. So employers need to be cognizant not to take any actions that could be deemed discriminatory against pregnant employees or women who are of childbearing years. So you want to prevent a gender discrimination or a pregnancy discrimination claim. So employers need to be careful not to preclude women from certain jobs that could require travel or preclude travel, a blanket travel ban for pregnant employees, because that could result in a discrimination claim. There may also be situations where employees simply refuse to work or travel in certain countries because of the risk of the virus. And those refusals might not come just from pregnant employees. They could come from, any of the other employees. There are some laws that could protect that refusal. For example, the Occupational Safety and Health Act does permit employees who have a reasonably objective belief that they could suffer imminent death or serious injury if they're forced to work in a certain condition. So depending on the circumstances, that could be something that comes up, that protection could be available. And for healthcare employers, OSHA has what's called the Blood-Borne pathogen standard, which requires employers to have training and protections in place for those employees who are occupationally exposed to blood that may be infected with an infectious disease, which would include the Zika virus. So it's important for healthcare providers to make sure that they're following their program and their training and their protocols to protect its employees from any type of exposure. And that could include not only the individuals who are providing the health care, which would be the nurses and the physicians, but also the individuals who are charged with, cleaning up after, surgery or any type of procedure that they may be exposed to blood. OSHA protects employees who complain about unsafe working conditions. So employers should be aware if they do receive a complaint about an unsafe working condition that they can't take any retaliatory action against their employees for making such a complaint. So they can't discharge them, discipline them, change their job duties. So there are a number of things that employers need to be aware of. It's important when they have these concerns that are raised to them that they take the time to consider them, consult with legal counsel. Don't make any quick decisions because, as we discussed, there are a number of laws that could be implicated. I think what's equally important is that employers and their managers need to be sensitive to the employees' concerns, especially those who may be pregnant or their partner may be pregnant, because the potential risk of birth defects is a serious risk for employees, and employers need to be sensitive to that when making their decisions.